Tonight on the Professional Fighters League, this card is stacked top to bottom.
A million ways, I only need one. A million moments, I only need one.
Welterweights and women's lightweights are going to bring down the house.
Oh, big shot. Big TKO.
Kayla.
Big punches for Kayla Harrison.
Brada.
Wow, I have chills.
And the Red King.
And there's the tab, Rory McDonald with a quick 6 points.
This card is on fire.
A million ways, I only need one. A million moments, I only need one.
Let's light this candle. You feel me?
What a fight.
The PFL starts right now, live on ESPN+.
A million reasons, I only need one. A million reasons, I only need one.
Welcome to OTE Arena, where the co-founders Dan Porter and Zach Weiner have been so gracious in partnering with the PFL. It's fantastic building, fellas, and we actually look very much forward to seeing the OTE Next Gen Basketball League coming out of this top-notch facility right here in the ATL. Make sure you visit @Overtime and @OTE on all social media platforms. Welcome to the PFL 6 pre-fight show. Kayla Harrison, Katelyn Young in a main event. Rory McDonald, Sada Busi in a co-main. Brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Coming up shortly, exclusively right here on ESPN+, 3 women's lightweight bouts as we round out the playoff picture. Koleshnik Melo, Jindrova Faisalanova, Marina Mokhnakina, and Abigail Montes. Building towards our main card, which begins 8 o'clock Eastern, simulcast on ESPN and right here on ESPN+. You can see the odds there. Kayla Harrison, once again, a prohibitive betting favorite, as is the 2-time welterweight champion, Ray Cooper III, coming off a missed weight and a loss. Sean O'Connell and Randy Couture and Kenny Florian. And as long as we're talking about Kayla Harrison, how about this? 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 2-time PFL champion, 2 kids, and now SB nomination. The first PFL fighter to have this honor, the only woman in this year's field. Vote now, ESPN.com/SB's Best MMA Fighter nomination for Kayla Harrison. How come you never got nominated?
I wasn't that dominant. And, you know, you look at what she's accomplished, not only going 4-0 last year, becoming the champion here in the PFL, but doing it in dominant fashion. Just amazing.
Kamaru Usman, Charles Oliveira, Alexander Volkanovski, and Kayla Harrison. Those are the names on the Mount Rushmore this year in mixed martial arts. Randy, let's talk about this main event. Kayla Harrison coming in off a decision victory. Of course, she wasn't 100% happy with that, but she's got 3 points as she takes on Katelyn Young.
Well, Kayla, like most of us, no one is harder on ourselves than we are, and she was not happy with that performance. Here's a gal that's become just an amazing, well-rounded fighter. Her transition skills and takedowns are amazing. She gets her hands on you, look for that inside chip, look for that body lock. She implements her judo very, very well into her MMA fighting style. She's become a tremendous ground and pound artist. If she gets you down on the ground, it's going to be coming at your head, and hopefully you survive that.
Well, Katelyn Young is a very experienced fighter. She's a very intelligent fighter, and she's going to need that here against Kayla Harrison. You know, she knows exactly what she needs to do. She needs to stop that takedown. No easy task, but she feels like her experience and her ability to integrate some unorthodox approaches and tactics here in this fight is going to be the difference. The other good thing is that she has no pressure. All the pressure is on Kayla here.
And this main event is geared towards exactly what you're looking at right now, the women's lightweight standings, brought to you by Next Level Hydrogen Water. Right now, Larissa Pacheco is alone at the top of the table. First round finish translated to 6 points for her. And then the logjam, Kayla Harrison, Martina Jindrova, Olena Koleshnik, and Julia Budd, who actually is out with an injury. Kayla Harrison needs a win to improve on that 3-point total and make the playoffs. So how are you betting a main event like this one? Well, we have experts for that, especially with that huge number next to Kayla Harrison's name. Jonathan Coachman, the coach, and Ian Parker. Fellas?
You know, Sean, the Duck, and myself, we're thrilled to be back for a 3rd week in a row. But I got so many tweets this week, Ian, that said, Coach, all the big-time favorites, they always seem to win in the PFL. Oh, really? Let's go back just 7 days. I want to show you a little something. If you would have put these 3 huge underdogs who all won a week ago into a parlay, $10, you would have cashed $1,400. If you were so inclined, $50, $7 grand. So, Ian, we now know that underdogs can cash in a major way. But Kayla's a big-time favorite. She has still not secured her spot in the playoffs. There's a lot at stake tonight. How are you betting the main event?
Well, I'm not taking minus 35. I expect Kayla to get the win. And look,
Ian, let me stop right there. That's my fault. I'm going to take that one. That's my fault. Let's show you the last 5 results of Kayla Harrison before we get to your big board. Now, unanimous decision the last time out. As the guy said, she was not happy with her decision. But look at the 4 previous to that. Absolute domination, which takes us to the number we have tonight. Now, Ian, after my mistake, how are you betting this main event fight tonight, sir?
Coach, you sound so much better doing that part than me anyway, so I'm glad you stopped me there. You know, look, at minus 3,500, Kayla, listen, we know she's got to get this done. Too big of a number, so let's go to our trusty fight props. Now, there's something really interesting here. Minus 500 by finish, still way too high. But, Coach, take a look at by KO and TKO at plus 100. All right, I'm going to mark it off on the betting big board right there because I'm definitely going to take that one, and we're going to place it. But we're going to do something a little different these days. We're also going to place the same level wager by submission at plus 140. Therefore, if she gets a finish at any point in the fight, we win money. Kayla just has to get it done by either TKO or KO. We break even, or we profit if she wins by submission.
Yeah, we talk about educate and entertain all the time. It doesn't have to be the biggest profit. Just sometimes a little profit is all you need. So that's how we're betting the main event. We have a lot more bets to get to. But right now, let's send it back to the Smart Cage and the guys. Sean.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you. Ian, by the way, that minus 3,500 number, a one confirmed bet, $2.7 million on Kayla wagered to win. That's unbelievable. Let's take another look at our main card. Again, 8 p.m. Eastern, ESPN and ESPN+. Harrison and Young in the main event. Rory McDonald, Sada Busi in the co-main. Another look at the odds. 2 former welterweight champions, by the way, and Ray Cooper III and Magomed Karamov are favorites tonight. Larissa Pacheco wants another matchup with Kayla Harrison, and Magomed Ublatov, still undefeated, is the lone blue corner favorite. Here's a look at our next level hydrogen water welterweight standings as of now. Both Rory McDonald and Carlos Leal with 6 points. Leal actually gets a walkover victory here in his second half of the regular season. That's why he's got 6 and is considered 2-0. Delano Taylor, Jarrah Al-Salawi, Sada Busi, all coming off decision victories, good enough for 3 points. And you can see Ray Cooper III down there, minus 1 point. But the welterweights, these are the finishers. So which one are you looking forward to most, Randy?
Well, I'm excited to see Rory McDonald every time he steps in that cage. He's one of the most exciting fighters we've seen in our sport. He's not afraid to put himself out there and try and reinvent himself. He's moved to Austin, Texas, working with Tim Kennedy, who's a top-rate operator and fighter. He says he's in the best shape of his life. He feels mentally and physically the best he's ever felt, and he's ready to put it all to the test here in the PFL at a shot at his first PFL championship.
Rory McDonald looked great in his first regular season outing here in Season 4. All right, Kenny, same question for you. Which of these welterweights are you most excited about?
I'm excited about Ray Brudda Cooper. You know, this is a guy who, 2-time champion here in the PFL, and candidly didn't look great in his first fight this year, but he said he was dealing with a lot. But when he's at his best, he is an absolute killer, whether it's on the feet or on the ground. He has crazy knockout power, tremendous submissions. He's a guy that, when he's in shape, is extremely focused. And we know, even when he's not at his best, he will not quit for anybody.
All right, so Randy's looking forward to Rory McDonald, who's a favorite tonight. Kenny's looking forward to Ray Cooper, who's an even bigger favorite tonight. Well, let's see what the coach and Ian Parker have to say about those two. Coach, Ian?
Sean, the welterweight division is an absolute mess, just the way we like it. Now, let's start with the co-main event tonight, because Rory McDonald, all he has to do, Ian, tonight is get a win, and he's going to move on to the playoffs. So let's start there. How do you see this fight playing out?
I think Rory McDonald is in a different mindset after his last fight. We always say, oh, he's back, but then he kind of slows down. I think he goes back to the well here. He's fighting someone inside of Busi who's a very good striker, so we know the ground game is where it's got to be. I think if Rory gets it down quickly, he might not end in round 1, but at some point, he's going to get it done. So we're going to go to the fight props here. And we're going to say that Rory McDonald gets it done here. Whoops. Inside the distance. All right. So let's go to the round props. Here we go. Fight does not go the distance at plus 110 because I think Rory gets it done beforehand.
There are so many different ways to pick these fights, and I love when you kind of dig deep and find something that maybe we weren't looking at. So that's the co-main event. But here's where it gets really, really interesting. The two-time defending champion, Ray Cooper III. He comes in tonight with -1 point. He missed weight by 5 pounds. So here's what needs to happen. If he gets a first-round finish, he's got to have a finish. Then 2 of the following 3 things need to happen. The Mulatov wins by a third-round finish or decision. Magomed Karamov wins by a third-round finish or decision, and we assume Rory McDonald, as a big favorite, would beat Sadibou C. But 2 of those 3s. But what if he gets a second-round finish? What does that look like? Well, it looks like this. He needs 2 of these 3 things to happen. Mulatov defeats Salawi by decision, Magomed Karamov by decision, or again, Rory McDonald by Sadibou C. So as you can see, everything is on the line tonight for the 2-time defending champion. But at least there's a road, Ian. What does that road look like in your mind on the big board?
Well, Coach, if you painted out this beautiful picture that you just did to Ray Cooper will just say, I heard nothing you said other than I'm going to go knock this guy out in round 1. And I believe that's what Ray Cooper is going to do now. Again, let's go to our fight props here. By finish, -280, too much. -165 by KO, not bad. But I like this. Again, I like under 1.5 rounds at -140 because it gives Ray Cooper a little bit of time in the second round if he needs to get it done. But also, let's not forget, Mike Cooper carries power in his hands. So I think one of these Coopers, it doesn't matter who, is going to sleep before that 1.5 mark. So -140, Coach, under 1.5, let's go.
That's going to be an absolute steal. More coming up throughout the night, but now, listening back to Sean and the guys.
All right, I like it. Ian thinks we're in for some finishes tonight. That's exciting for all of us. Now let's take a look at the women's lightweight playoff picture, brought to you by Next Level Hydrogen Water. Larissa Pacheco right now holding those 6 points, coming off a first-round finish. Kayla Harrison, Martina Androva, Elena Kolesnik, and the now absent Julia Budd, all with 3 points. Let's go ahead and assume that the top 2 names there, just for the sake of this discussion, Larissa Pacheco and Kayla Harrison, end up in the playoff picture. That's still only 1/2 of the bracket, so we need 2 more names. Randy, who do you think is going to be there?
Oh, I like Martina Androva. Now, it's not just because she comes from Prague, one of my favorite cities on the planet. But here's a gal that's a 6-time amateur world champion in kickboxing, 2-time European champion. Against Vanessa Mello, she showed some great striking, some good range control and distance. I think she goes out and she gets that done again tonight. She comes in with 6 points and secures her position in the playoffs.
All right, that would mean 3 of the 4 spots in the playoff are taken, which means Kenny Florian, you tell me who that number 4 spot goes to.
Yeah, I'm looking at Elena Kolesnik, and she came in here with a fire and a desire that was just different than she had last year. Obviously, a lot of stuff going on outside of the cage for her, but I love the improvements. You know, the technical improvements in her game with her boxing, her decision-making during that fight, and her grappling especially. I came away very impressed.
Well, as Kenny alluded to, Elena Kolesnik, in getting ready for this fight, is dealing with more than any other fighter on the card, probably any other fighter in our PFL season. Hear her talk about it in her own words. And it's hard to even put into context the situation that Elena Kolesnik escaped in order to get to this fight.
My family is really patriotic people, so they stay there till actually soldiers knock in our house. They will fight till the end. I hope I will have opportunity because of this tournament to save life of my mom and my sister. My father, he's 58, so 2 years till 60, since 18 till 60 they be in army. For me, it's opportunity to save at least life of my mom and my sister. I hope my father will be okay.
Straight left lands for Elena Kolesnik.
But if God help me to win this fight, I'm sure I will fight in London, and in London I have a huge support from Ukrainian community, and I know a couple people help me to get my relatives at least at UK.
Oh, nice left hand and a right. Another combination and a big flurry here. Elena Kolesnik thinks she's done enough.
Elena Kolesnik!
In my national song, we have words that you're ready to die for our freedom. Our people not give up. My only wishes every day, I pray only for one thing, to stop the war in my country.
Elena Kolesnik putting the final touches on a warm-up, carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders, and she will be taking on Vanessa Melo. Only moments away. That's it for the DraftKings pre-fight show, which means fights inside the Smart Cage next.